Welcome to another episode of the 15 Minute a Day Cure. Today's topic, 7 journal benefits for beginners. Hi, I'm Margo of BeGoodToYourselfByMargo.com and welcome to my channel. Here, I teach you simple strategies to improve your quality of life. If you're new here, wonderful to have you. I release brand new videos every Wednesday. So journaling. I think that journaling is a very, very good self-care practice. I think that if done properly, it can have a slew of benefits. And I'm going to kind of cover just 7 of the benefits today, but I think there's 7 of the most important benefits, specifically for somebody who's brand new to journaling and doesn't really know what the benefits specifically are. So I'm going to go through that. I'm also going to show you a variety of different journals. Again, there's no really right or wrong way to do this. I think that the most important thing with journaling is consistency, right? If you're journaling once every month, well, you're not going to really receive the benefits of journaling as a self-care practice. So let's start with number 1. So one of the main benefits of journaling is that it really helps you achieve your goals. So how does it do that? Now, can you write things down on a piece of paper in a notebook? Absolutely. You really don't necessarily have to invest in a journal per se, right? You can have a notebook, you can go to the dollar store, pick one up, and there you go. That is your journal. Is it the most effective way to use it for the purpose of achieving your goals? Not really, because it's not structured that way. My recommendation is, writing things down. These are my goals. For example, for New Year's resolution goals, I want to lose, 15 pounds. I want to quit smoking. I want to eat better. I want to drink less coffee. I want to drink more water. I want to practice self-care more. A goal-setting journal kind of allows you to write that down. Then it also, gives you the opportunity to indicate how you will reach this, right? Goals have to be smart. So you have to be able to measure progress. You have to be able to measure success. You have to have a way that you're going to achieve this goal, right? Saying something like, well, I want to lose 15 pounds. Well, that's fantastic in theory, but you need to write it down. You also have to say, well, how are you going to lose the 15 pounds? By when are you going to lose the 15 pounds, right? Because what happens is along the way, we lose motivation. And I am a firm believer in writing things down. I actually recently published a goal-setting journal. I will leave a link down below. So it's called Plan With Me. And achieve what you desire. So it essentially has weekly planners. So this is what I'm talking about when I say organization. What are you doing on a weekly basis to achieve a particular goal? And then you essentially reflect on it and you can kind of keep notes. Again, this doesn't, whether you invest in something like this or, again, a journal of your choice, achieving your goals, a journal is fantastic for that, but you have to use it all the time, and it has to be structured in such a way that keeps you very, very organized, not kind of aimlessly. Well, today, this week I exercised 2 days, and next week I didn't exercise at all, and then I exercised for, you're not going to achieve your goals. And I have a lot of videos specifically on achieving goals. I'll leave links down below. But in general, for you guys who are beginners when it comes to journaling, achieving your goals is one of the best benefits. Number 2, it inspires and motivates, right? When we're writing down our thoughts on paper, when we're tracking our progress, right? Whether it's a goal-setting journal or I love this particular, again, I'll leave a link down below. I love this particular self-care journal, where you're essentially recording what your intentions are for the day and what self-care practices you did, what mood you were in. So, when you kind of go through these organized pages, you can see, well, I started off, when I started journaling, I started off and I wasn't feeling great and I was sad. And I was lost and I didn't have focus, or maybe my anxiety was very, very high. My stress levels were very, very high. And now lo and behold, as you're documenting, right? Because the pages are repetitive, and I think that's the beauty of this journal. You can kind of see your progress. You can see how much better you're doing. You can see how much better you're feeling compared to the previous weeks. And I think that, again, journaling requires that you document things and that you do that hopefully on a daily basis. But again, time permitting, whatever is best for you. But we often forget, right? We're kind of maybe in a negative mindset and sort of the inspiration and the motivation is not really there. But when you go through like the previous pages and you're like, oh my goodness, I've made so much progress. And I started off with, let's say, no self-care practices. And now I'm doing, 2 self-care practices a day or whatnot. Again, that inspires and motivates. The same thing with goal setting. As you're tracking your progress, you can actually see it, right? It's tangible in front of you. And that in itself will inspire and motivate. Number 3, like I mentioned before, it tracks progress. So it's the same thing. Again, writing things down on paper, whether it's achieving a goal or decreasing your anxiety or improving your mood or eliminating negative thoughts. Because you're writing it down on paper, you're able to accurately track your progress. And that in itself is very rewarding. It's motivating. And that kind of is what helps you achieve your goals, whatever those might be. Number 4, it focuses you to be organized. And this is kind of why I honestly prefer an actual journal over a notebook. Again, there's nothing wrong with, using a notebook. It's much more cost effective, right? You can buy it for $1 versus maybe buying some of these journals, which run anywhere typically from about $15 to $25. But they're, most of them are good for at least half a year to a year. But it forces you to be organized, right? So when you're writing just in a notebook, it's good for the purpose of getting your venting, getting thoughts out on paper. So I think that a notebook is fantastic for that. But if you're really trying to track progress and achieve something, having a journal keeps you organized because, again, it's very, very specific, every single page, to what the expectations of you are for writing. And obviously choose a journal that's good for you, right? Choose a journal that has the right questions or has the right format that you're comfortable with. Obviously, journals come in different sizes. This one's I think this is a 6x9. I think this is a little bit smaller. And again, journals come in a variety. This one is even bigger. So for example, this is a tarot journal, right? So maybe that is something that you're interested in. And again, it's organized really, really well, and it gives you space to write down your notes. So there is a wide range of the types of journals that you can purchase, but just make sure that you're selecting one that works for you, and also make sure that you're selecting one that's aesthetically pleasing. You want to purchase something that you actually want to pick up and you want to write in. And I think this one in particular is quite beautiful. But again, it forces you to be organized, right? Because the journal itself, unlike a notebook, has a structure to it, right? Number 5, and this is what I've used it for many, many, many years, is that if you write in it every single day, even if it's for 5 minutes, right? So when we talk about journaling, I don't want anyone to think that, especially you guys who are beginners, I don't want you to think that you have to spend, 30 minutes, an hour and a half every single day writing in your journal. Look, the reality of it is we're all busy, right? Life is very hectic. Life is very chaotic. So I want to make sure that you're dedicating the time that you can, right? Journaling should be, a relaxing experience. It should be enjoyable. It should be something that you're looking forward to. And it really does, if you're constantly writing in it, it reduces stress and anxiety. And one of the best ways to do that is strictly from a cathartic standpoint, right? So think about when we're stressed and we're anxious. We feel better by maybe talking to somebody about it or writing about it. And this is kind of serves that purpose. So writing your thoughts out on paper. And also when it comes to stress and anxiety, sometimes when we keep things in our head, we kind of blow them out of proportion. So we think something was huge, even though it's, on a scale of 1 to 10 of maybe how severe and impactful and anxiety provoking or stressful it was, it's really on a level 2. But we kind of inflate it to be on a level 10. And I find that, with clients and myself, writing things down on paper, right? Just kind of get it out there, right? There doesn't have to, nobody's checking your spelling. There doesn't have to be a fancy way of doing this. But then, get it out on paper automatically, right? Cognitively, you feel better. So, just by putting things down on paper, you're actually decreasing your stress and anxiety. But then maybe the next day, kind of read over what you wrote, right? What you were stressful about. And I guarantee you that in most instances, you're going to find that that thing, right, that you were upset about, that caused you stress, whatever the anxiety provoking elements was, it really wasn't that big, right? And you might even kind of giggle about it and say, okay, well, in the grand scheme of things, maybe I kind of just overreacted. So it's a wonderful form of self-reflection. And it's also a wonderful form, journaling creates a positive mindset. And I think that that in itself decreases your stress and anxiety levels. And you know what? Leave a comment down below. Let me know why you love journaling or why you want to start journaling. Number 8, it builds self-confidence. So how does it build self-confidence? So one of the biggest things that we struggle with is self-esteem and self-confidence, right? And I'll leave a link down below. I have a whole video on how to improve your self-confidence, as well as a video on self-love and sort of, empowerment. But building self-confidence. So self-confidence is something we need to achieve our goals, right? And again, I think journaling, because it gives you that inspiration and that motivation. I think journaling, because it tracks your progress, right? And it makes things very, very tangible. And it's also reducing your stress and anxiety as a result, right? Because you are going to start achieving things, right? One of the biggest things about writing things down on paper is that when you write things down, you're more likely to take it seriously, and then you're more likely to take the steps necessary in order to achieve it, right? As you track your progress and your success, and as your mindset evolves, and as your thoughts go from negative to positive, naturally your self-confidence and your self-esteem is going to go up as well. And I think that's a wonderful thing that journaling offers you. And then finally, number 7, it strengthens memory. Because again, the more we write things down, the more we remember. I mean, my daughter always laughs at me. She's like, Mommy, she's like, half the time you don't remember things. And I'm like, well, it's because I have so much in my head, and, with the 4 jobs and keeping track and time management and this and that and the other, that there's certain little things that I will periodically forget. But again, the more you write things down, right? Sometimes we'll have a fantastic idea or a goal or how we're going to achieve it, or I don't know, something motivational that came out of us. We're going to forget it, right? We're going to get distracted. I get distracted by my daughter, my dog, life, jobs, we get distracted. But there you commit it to memory. And I think that repetition is key, obviously, for memory. And when it comes to, let's say, working on our goals, or, even if you're just documenting gratitude or whatnot, again, it builds on your memory muscles, and it helps you remember the good stuff by putting it down on paper. So those are the 7 journaling benefits for beginners. Again, journaling has such a wealth of benefits to you, and it doesn't really cost too much. It doesn't really require that much of your time. It does require consistency. So again, I really do want to stress that for journaling to be truly effective, you have to be consistent with it, So I hope you enjoyed my video. Don't forget to hit the like button, please. That's always appreciated. Subscribe if you haven't. And always remember to be good to yourselves.